order, feed Jamieson-Folland, the lifestyle aligner, with which foods could it be wise for us to avoid if we're really wanting to hone our brain function, improve our focus, etc. All ranges of our brain function. And there's some really interesting information that a Harvard nutritionist has come up with. So I'm going to share some salient points from that. Some of these foods can weaken memory and focus, which is really interesting. All right, so let's start with added sugars, a classic challenge these days. So we know our brain uses sugar, which is, you think, oh, that's a good thing. High sugar diet can actually lead to excess glucose in the brain, and this has been linked with memory impairment, so a problem with our memory. And also the plasticity and the ability of an area in the brain called the hippocampus to work. And this is the area that controls, will work as well as it could, it controls our memory. So going for things like unhealthy processed foods, like baked goods and sodas, they are some of the worst culprits. So opting for teas and water is always a good option, non-refined foods. So second one are fried foods. So whilst these can be a treat sometimes, regularly having French fries, tempura, so the deep fried, samosas, fish and chips, chicken fried, that kind of thing, it's not great for our brain health, according to several studies. One of them found that people who had eaten a fatty meal or a diet that's high in fried foods, deep fried foods especially, they're linked to lower scores in learning and memory. Basically, the reason that they're thinking of for this is it's increasing inflammation in our blood vessels, which supply the brain with blood. Another study found that people who are eating a diet rich in these foods are likely to experience depression. So one to avoid. Then another I'm going to mention is alcohol. And sometimes, oh, I have a drink, feeling stressed. The challenge is people who abstained from alcohol completely or consumed, who had abstained from alcohol completely or who consumed more than 14 drinks per week had a higher risk of dementia compared to those who drank alcohol in moderation. So if people, it's interesting there, they're saying had abstained from alcohol completely or had consumed more than 14 drinks a week. So that's, we're talking about, I think, a shot like this or a small glass of wine. So generally, if men are drinking more than 14 drinks a week, that's deemed to be heavy drinkers. But, at the end of the day, there's a sense of in oneself, what's my alcohol intake like? And for me, I've found it so much easier to just, I find my brain functions a lot better overall if I'm not having it. Obviously, again, it's bio-individual, every one of us are different. Then we've got nitrates, which are often added as a preservative to some foods like deli sliced meats, that kind of thing, cured meats, salami, sausage, and they have been linked with depression. So that might be something to avoid. So a few foods to just kind of have on the list if we're going to have them in moderation. So I trust this has been useful, and I look forward to seeing you on this week's Alive with Thee. Ciao.